Good evening. It's the 31st of December 2020. Soon to bid goodbye to what for most people was a hellish year, and looking to be going into 2022 with more variations of hell, given the I call it the Omicron, the Omicron spread. Living in very dystopian times, but what else is new? I had a lovely day. My friend Lynn came to visit me, and she brought me this beautiful lamb and potato bake and green beans lunch that I finished off for dinner. And she bought me sticky date puddings. There were two and small ones, so I gobbled them down out of the microwave. So I'm well fed. She also bought me a beautiful hot chicken, which I'll have tomorrow for dinner, I think. So I'm sitting here very quietly. I've been busy for the last, well, really the last week, but the last 3 days I've been busy sewing on a sewing machine that Lynn bought me for my birthday. And I'm not very good at sewing, but I made lots of little gift bags out of little silk and cotton swatches that I bought about 2 years ago in reverse garbage. So I thought it was time to turn them into things that could be used rather than stuff and nonsense lying around in the drawers. So I made about 4 little bags today, and I made about 3 little bags yesterday in silk. And I found it was easier to sew the cotton because it's not so slippery. So I've been very productive. Yesterday as well I sewed, I don't know if you can see it, I sewed my skirt, and I sewed this little piece on, bits of my Hungarian blouse. Bits of my Hungarian blouse got transmuted and added to my skirt that's got lots of tapestries and embroideries, so I'm very happy with that. So I wore it today. I'm tired. I'm quite tired because I've been so, just so active the last week, and it was a kind of hypomanic frenzy that comes on usually at Christmas time. I get super innovated and creative, and there's this kind of underlying anger and distress because old trauma issues came up. Just made an arsehole of myself, texting an old flame. Basically told him to fuck off and I'll see him hell, which is really not the way to conduct a possible reconciliation or a romance, but let's face it, that was never going to happen anyway. The guy's completely soulless and empty. The best he can do is drive around Holland Park now, since he lives in Greenslopes, and drive past me and do this like a child. It's just completely infantile. And I don't know why I rang him, because that's also infantile and pointless. So we're as bad as each other, really. But it's okay. It's harmless. He's not interested in me, and I'm growing up and growing old and growing wiser, and one day I'll get over it. But I just had a little fit of fucking subterranean rage at the way I've been treated so appallingly, not just by him, over the course of the past 8 years. I mean, it's not really, not really that big a deal, I guess, in the broad scheme of things. I've had worse men and worse traumas and damage, but it's just so heartbreaking that You know when you love someone and they're just at arm's length and you know it's never going to be anything but shit. And I've done that a long time. A long time. Longer than most people have been alive now. Anyway, I didn't make this video to cry and get maudlin on New Year's Eve. But here I am, crying and getting maudlin on New Year's Eve. And as I said, I had a lovely time with my beautiful friend Lynn and my beautiful friend in New Zealand, my benefactor, spoilt me lavishly with the most amazing abundance of food on. It arrived very late in the evening on Christmas Eve, and so I'm well fed and well watered and cherished by good, kind people who value me, and I'm grateful for that. So there's no need for me to cry and be maudlin over some fucking twatty, dreadlocked, knock-kneed, snaggle-toothed puss bag of a man that I, for some reason, can't seem to let it all go. God knows I've tried. And this is a time of year too when spiritually I get haunted, in inverted commas, usually by spirits of my mother or an ex-lover wanders through, but I had like rather invasive and weird dreams about a former friend years ago who was also bonking that particular ex-lover. So I guess the enmeshment sort of is coming to a head and reminding me of how devalued and disgustingly betrayed I've been all my life since early childhood. So it just sort of spins around on a dime sometimes. I had a lovely Boxing Day. My daughter Crystal and my best friend Jared came and spent the afternoon, well, Jared came at lunchtime, spent the afternoon and evening with me. And we had a lovely time. We actually drank a lot. I haven't had so much alcohol in a long time. I haven't drunk in probably 6 months. So it was nice to have wine in the house. I've still got Fruity Lexia. You know what, sod it, I should just get a nice glass of wine while we're talking, shouldn't I? I haven't had a drink since Boxing Day because we had a lot. And do you know, I didn't even get drunk. This is the amazing thing, you know. I don't have a gallbladder. You'd expect me to get completely smashed out of my skull, but I was feeling slightly in a kind of weird altered state. But then by that point in the afternoon, my darling daughter had reached the point where she was starting to button push. And I just said, oh, you know, if we're going to be nasty, whatever. And off I went for a bit of a walk, had a little break and came back and everything was sweet again. When you set firm boundaries with people, it's like, things can be quite tolerable. But we did have a lovely time, and my daughter worked very hard. She made the most beautiful rum bubbers, soaked in fig and pineapple jam, I think she said, and this amazing rum that was spiced rum, but also with mango and pineapple or passion fruit. I think it was pineapple flavouring. Oh my God, it was amazing. And Jared had made the most beautiful chicken with this beautiful indigenous spices. So that was yummy. And I had worked all Christmas Eve like a maniac because I just had this sudden urge to put on a feast, which, you know, probably only happens around about this time of year. I very rarely go into domestic goddess overdrive, but yeah, Christmas Eve I made a mango sorbet, a huge trifle, which ended up being so big it could have fed like 10 people, but we enjoyed it, and potato and sweet potato salad, which was very nice. So we sort of all put everything together and all our contributions, and we had such a huge feast. And Crystal brought the most beautiful cashew nuts as well, and what other things we had to eat? Oh, and Crystal gave me this beautiful bag of Lindor Lindt chocolate that I was supposed to share with Jared, but he left it behind, which is not wise to leave chocolate behind with me because I have no impulse control when it comes to chocolate. I mean, just thank the gods I never ended up a heroin addict because I wouldn't have survived it. There's no impulse control with chocolate at all. But anyway, so I've been trying to save them so that he can have some, but I don't think they're going to survive the Tanya fiasco. But yes, we had a gorgeous day, and my daughter made me these lovely earrings. She handmade them and hand carved them. They're little, can you see it? Little mushrooms, which is very shamanic and appropriate at Christmas time, since we're Jewish and we're kind of shamanic, my daughter and I, witchy, shamanic, magical people. So there is that. And anyway, she made a beautiful blue one for Jared, which looked lovely with his beautiful blue eyes. And I put sterling silver hooks and a little jump ring on them. So I was very thrilled with that. And I bought her, it hasn't arrived yet because I only just ordered them just before Christmas Eve, but I bought her special little moulds because she's going to be making jewellery from Fimo, but from these little moulds that I bought her. So she was very, very pleased about that. So we had a lovely time, and then everything goes back to hit the reset button of where I just sit here on my own on the couch, life and getting maudlin. It's not good, is it? Should be getting pissed and dancing, but with Omicron, whatever the fudge cake you call that piece of shit nonsense. I mean, it's not a nonsense if people are dying, but you know what I mean. I'm already, I've lost my voice, so I've got some kind of respiratory thing happening. I'm already not quite well, but I'm okay. Like, I don't have Omicron, I don't think, although they reckon it's mild. But no, I don't have it, because if I had it, I'd be like fudge caked up. But anyway, what was I going to say? Everyone's so frightened and paranoid and stupid with it, and like, we've had so many plagues before this. We had swine flu, we had bird flu, and one of my friends nearly died of swine flu. It was terrible, and then she deliberately tried to give it to me, which was appalling given she's a psych nurse and registered nurse, and she knows my respiratory problems are not great. And I said, "What'd you do that for?" "Oh, I wanted you to die with me." So yes, that was an obsessional lover that had to go. I can do I can do well without that kind of friendship. I don't want to die with my friends or lovers or partners or anyone really. And dying's definitely a one-man band. It was something you should do alone. Don't inculcate your lovers and your partners into your nightmare. It's just rude, really. Choose your own fucking time. So there's that. But anyway, all this histrionics about Omicron, and even the media. There was a media person on the news this morning in New South Wales, and she's like, yes, everyone's confused. We keep changing the rules. Even the politicians are confused. So it makes me feel like the whole thing is just gaslighting and tyranny. Keeping everyone in a state of confusion is like first part of the playbook of brainwashing, really. So, having said that, I won't be so smug if I actually got Omicron. I can't even call it what it really. Omicron, whatever. Omicron disease, batshit, old bag disease, whatever. I know. Anyway, haven't got it, and I'm sorry for those people that have got it that may or may not have lost their lives because of it, because, that's not nice. But we all choose our own time, and our time will be what will be, whatever the gods decree, you know what I mean? So it's proof that the whole thing's driven by something dark and sinister, because they even put a parody and a satire movie called Just Look Up, which was about a comet coming to annihilate, the human race and the planet. And I couldn't help seeing, the parallels drawn between what's going on with COVID and the media and the politicians, and just the Muppets and the lies and the deception and the confusion deliberately instilled in the population. So I just kind of thought, interesting timing. Spiritually speaking, I feel like the timelines have been just shifted, like completely out of kilter, and we're just spiralling up and down like a hurdy-gurdy ride in the cosmos somewhere, and someone out there is having a great laugh at our expense, and it would be funny if it weren't so traumatic and devastating. But then I've lived through traumatic and devastating all my life, so I've reached the point where I just can't take any of this seriously. I really can't, Even going to hospital recently in June for a colonoscopy was just an exercise in hell. So appalling abuse again. So I can't take anything the humans are doing now seriously at all. I just think it's all distorted and disturbed and delusional and deceptive and twisted, really. No other word to describe it. But here we are. I'll just check the timing a sec. 9:56. We've got 2 hours till 2022. So I've spent the last week of 2021 sewing up a stall, making little bags and fixing my skirt, and sewed up an old blouse, turned it into a cushion, top of an old Mexican dress. It looked like a blouse, but wasn't wearable as a blouse anyway. Anyway, I turned it into a cushion, stuffed it, and put little owls buttons on. It's quite sweet. Did that yesterday as well. So I've worked very hard on various projects, and today I was excited because I'd ordered on Boxing Day, or the day after Boxing Day, I ordered 5 power shells, and I ordered A1, like top quality ones, and I cut them up and I use them in inlays, and I'm intending to make jewellery with them, so I wanted really top quality ones. They were a bit smaller than I anticipated, but they were the most spectacular colours, and they're just such good quality I don't even want to cut them up. It's a bit of a shame, really, but I will, because that's what I bought them for, to be made into heart shapes or discs or something to use for my art projects. And the other thing I bought today was a wood burner, so I made little signs on my wooden blocks for my Titania's Realm business that I hope to get off the ground one day. At the moment I'm still gathering equipment and resources, and working towards that goal. Probably take me 5 to 10 years if I can survive the Omicron and the awful, ex-lovers and friends and past and all the shit that holds me down, grinds me down. It's like, it'd be lovely to just throw that all away and just breathe free and vibrant and joyful and happy and prosperous and find love again one day. But of course I'll be too busy if I have a little business running. But you never know. Stranger things have been known to happen. So I'm building a little empire for myself out of scraps, literally out of scraps. Like I made these little bags they were silk and cotton swatches that came obviously from some furniture shop that had fabric shop that has, how you have those books of swatches and you can choose which design you want. Well, they sell the outdated ones at reverse garbage. So I bought a book of silk ones, and I bought a book of cotton ones, and I'd, you know, rip them apart and wash them and put them away in a drawer, and they've sat there for 2 years. So the last few days I thought I'll sew them up and make use of them. So I'm very happy about that, making things out of things that would have just been thrown out otherwise and gone to waste. My crazy skirt that I've remade out of embroideries. So, and I was struck with the cushion I made from the old dress, the top from an old Mexican dress. I literally wore that dress 40 years ago when I was 16, and this pieces of Hungarian blouse that I sewed onto this dress, onto this skirt, had that since I was 16, and so I was struck by how I've cherished and guarded and hoarded these things for 40 years, as well as the sort of tapestry. I made that when I was 16. So it must be some kind of Saturn return, 40 years of wandering in the desert, in the wilderness, lost, betrayed, shunned, tortured, raped, molested, strangled, driven into poverty, all of that happened in the last 40 years, and here I am dredging up these things and remaking them and wearing them with pride and saying, hey, we made it 40 years later, here we go, get a second life. I'm getting a second life. Well, actually, it's not really a second life, it's like a fourth or fifth wind at 56, going on 57 in April this coming year. It's going to be interesting. I think the next few years for me are going to be very interesting. I've done a lot of exponential healing, and I've blossomed out in my creativity, which are all things I constantly pray to the gods for. That, along with wanting true love, it's been a prayer that I've been trying to manifest for, gosh, all my life really. But the last 10 years, it's been 10 years since I broke up with the ex-boyfriend, and I've been on my own, and that was good, you know, like, he was a dead shit anyway. I mean, let's face it, oh my God, seriously, what was that? But, and then I fell in love with this other dude that is just avoidant and absent and cruel and sadomasochistic. So what was that? And I wasted 8 years of heart on that person. But that's okay, you know, because it made me realise that I'm a beautiful, vibrant, you know, I'm a big girl, but I'm a beautiful, vibrant, chunky, hunky mama who deserves the best. And I've been cherishing and nurturing zombies and dead shits for decades, and it's bizarre, but I'm not bitter about it. It's like, you know, love is love. Love is the driving force of the universe. I mean, love is why we're here, some of us. Some of us slip through the condom, I guess, like I did, but, you know, some of us were brought into this planet out of an act of pure passion and romance and pleasure and joy and desire and procreation and bliss, you know, how it should be, you know, how it should be. And I've been backpedaling and surviving my mother's attempts to abort me, and my very early infancy, suffering like an animal as I did with reflux, and all the other ugliness that we won't go into again now because they're in other videos. We don't need to rehash all of that, but my God, I'm a formidable woman who deserves a man. I'm going to go cross-eyed. You have to laugh. I'm a formidable woman who deserves only the best. La creme de la creme, darling. You know. But unfortunately, I'm a loving woman and I'm authentic, and when I love completely, and it's not right. It's not right at all. It's not good for me. It's disaster, you know. So let me focus on happy thoughts, because we're leading into 2022. What do I want the next year to be like? I want it to be more creativity, as much as I can possibly cope with energetically, because I'm tired. I'm really tired. I'm not a young woman anymore. I know 56 going on 57 doesn't seem old, but, you know, I shot my lungs to pieces a few weeks back drilling ceramic, and I nearly died from that, to be honest. I was like sitting on this couch going, fading out. And I refused to go to the hospital because they're cunts. They really are. I wouldn't let them near my body again if they paid me. So my stubbornness is going to be the death of me. My stubbornness and my defiance will be the death of me. But it's worth it, you know. Not giving in to abusers is worth it, you know. So I've been increasingly, you know, less and less breath and less oxygen to work with, given I have sleep apnea as well as the other issue from grinding down ceramics. And I've been pumping myself with 4 times the dose of vitamin D, because some nurse on the internet says that vitamin D will protect you from COVID, which I think is a load of bullshit probably. If you're meant to die of COVID, you're going to just fucking die, and I don't think any amount of vitamin D is going to make any difference, but on the little off chance that it might counteract or counterbalance and weigh things like the feather held by Horus, you know, no, Anubis. Weigh the feather of my car by Anubis. I'll take a few extra vitamin Ds and bend over and kiss my ass goodbye and hope for the best, but that hasn't helped my respiratory problems at all. I'm still a bit short of breath. So what is 2022 going to be like? It's a 6. 6 represents harmony and family and true love and, yeah, family dynamics and gatherings of soulkin. So you never know, maybe I meet a partner next year, someone who chooses to be my partner and won't fuck me over like all the other dirty ratbag cunts did. But anyway, there is that. Obviously, I'm not going to find a true love while I'm ranting and raving and in kind of a blind fury about the past, because that's counterproductive and doesn't gain you any prospective partners. In fact, it just frightens them away. They can't handle reality, and I refuse to live my life in, you know, ridiculous fantasies of what could be and wishing and hoping, because it's never manifested. So, you know. But when I think about the last few years, what I was put through, though, you know, it was heinous. It was really heinous. No wonder I went into overdrive, like deciding that I was going to get myself a little business and making jewellery out of cutlery and trying really hard to get myself up on my feet, because the cruelties and the vagaries of men has certainly not served me well in this life, I tell you. Especially the last one, that my former lover was so threatened and jealous of, because I made friends with this guy, you know. He took off to Mullumbimby to be a shaman. It's actually quite hilarious. We never even had anything happening, like we weren't romantic partners in the slightest. But my ex-lover was so threatened and insecure and jealous. It was bizarre. A man who doesn't want me could not bear the thought of anyone else wanting me, which is just abuse and power and control and a perversion, really. But anyway, that was funny how that all panned out. One ran with his tail between his legs to Mullumbimby to be a shaman. Shame, man. because I showed him up in his little circle about what a complete tossing wanker he is, and he couldn't even get a frickin' hongi right. I mean, if you're going to culturally misappropriate Maori tradition when you're a Austrian Pakeha born and raised in Australia, if you're going to culturally appropriate, freaking learn how to do it right, you know? It was just, I told him that, so of course that was the end of that beautiful friendship. Maybe maybe I deserve to be single because I really am a bit of an arsehole. Like, I could have just held back and went, oh, Richard, I just love how you want to inhale everyone's breath from the bowels of their intestines. But it's not how it's done, you know? It's just not cricket, Beauregard. It's just not cricket. Beauregard wants to know who I'm talking to. Who are you talking to, Mama Dear? I'm talking to a video, and then I'm going to publish it, and the whole world can see how batshit crazy I am. And you know what? I don't care, because I'm happy speaking my truth. I'm happy speaking my truth on New Year's fucking Eve. Happy New Year, Beauregard. Happy New Year. Beauregard was very happy to see Arnie Lynn today, and I gave him a bath. He was a very dirty, smelly dog. And I said, you have to have a bath, because Arnie Lynn's coming to see us, and I don't want you smelling like death. And he was like, I don't want a bath. It's not happening. It's not happening. But it happened. Yes. Oh, he's so adorable. Look at that. Is that a face only another good love? Yes, it is, Mama T. It's a face only another good love. So there you go. Anyway, where was I? 31 minutes I've ranted and raved about ex-lovers and ex-friends that could have possibly been a lover, but I couldn't really trust them with myself. And I couldn't trust myself either, so there was that. And then the ex-lover was all threatened and jealous and frightened of the bloody shaman and I getting it on, which we never did. But the shaman actually had a girlfriend, was a polyamorous, so like, why the fuck would I be going there? For the love of dog, give me some credit, Beauregard. Give me some credit. But anyway, so I'm missing out on dancing. Oh, excuse me. I'm missing out on dancing because, you know, because of my vaccination status, and I'm not allowed in the clubs and pubs anymore, in the casino. Oh, good bubbard. Oh, actually, I miss dancing, but I don't miss the superficial, lying, you know, treacherous, awful fake friends that I had there. You know, there was a few nice ones over the years, but by and large, there were an awful lot of horrible, vicious people. So, and yes, late 2019 and early 2020 flushed all them out. So I ended a lot of friendships with people that I thought I was quite close to, actually. It just shows you how people really don't really give a flying fuck about you at the end of the day. You know, you're just yesterday's use-by date. Indispensable. Or in their case, dispensable. So, I've got a cramp in my toe. It really hurts. Ow. Listen to this. This is me decramping my toe. Decramping my toe. So anyway, it's, I miss dancing. If I could get the cramp out of my toe, I could probably put on really loud music and have a couple of glasses of wine and dance wildly and have a party in my house all by myself. The neighbour 2 doors down, who doesn't speak to me, I think he's a neo-Nazi, he's not a very nice boy, just turned 21 tonight, so they've had a bit of a party, which is nice, you know, 21. I remember when I turned 21, I was already pregnant with my second child and trapped in a pretty much loveless marriage, really, although I was in denial about that. And yeah, toxic fucking family with a belly full of arms and legs, Beauregard. A belly full of arms and legs. Yes. That child is estranged to me now, so there you go. This is why we have dogs, Bobo, because they're cute and adorable and they love you no matter what. Don't you think? Cute and adorable and they love you no matter what. Oh, that toe really hurts. It's actually spasming, look at it. Oh, Happy New Year watching my toes spasm. I can't be doing that. It's so painful. It's funny what happens when you make videos on YouTube. Your toe spasms. And not in a good way, darlings. Anyway, what else have I been doing? What else has Mummy been doing, Beauregard? I've been watching interesting shows on TV. And I've been sewing. Something I thought I would never do is sew. I know. Look at this angel face. Look at him. He's a beautiful boy. He loves his mother. I love you too, Beauregard. Yes, apart from Christmas Eve, all the cooking I did, and the mango sorbet I slab dough, they were so proud of. They didn't even really hardly eat, so I don't think I'll make that again. It's too much work, and it wasn't really, there was so much food that it wasn't really partaken of. And but everyone enjoyed. Well, Crystal couldn't have the trifle because I said to her, I'll make it dairy free, and she said no, don't bother. And then on the day she looked annoyed that she couldn't eat it, but I did ask her if she wanted to eat it. But anyway, there is that. Can't please all the people all the time, Beauregard. Rule number 1 in the playbook: you can't please all the humans all the time. All right? Don't even try. You'll go mad trying. What else? Oh yes. So anyway, I went to get some last minute items on Christmas Eve because the next day my family, my friend Jode and my daughter were coming, the last of my family, and so I'm driving and I see the ex-lover driving towards me going down Boundary Road. He's like this. And anyway, I don't know why, but it set me off again. What do you do about that apart from knock yourself out and get drunk and, I don't know, kill yourself? We've tried that, didn't work, I'm still here, so we won't be doing that. Also, no man's worth dying for, not even that little ferret. So there is that. I'm staying alive. My beautiful dog is awesome. Yes, we're avoiding the Omicron. We fucking hate Ormies because I had a very toxic mother who was an Ormie. Evil, toxic hag. So we're avoiding all Ormies, German and otherwise. We're avoiding the COVID, we're avoiding the spike proteins, and I'm avoiding vaccines because I think they're dangerous and toxic because they're giving people things with mRNA, and I'm dead against that. So there's that. That's just my opinion. It's got nothing to do with how anyone else does. You put in your body what you want to put in. If you think you're saving yourself and saving the world, that's your business. But don't inflict your fucking ideas on me. Governmental, shilling, and otherwise. I'm just staying alive, baby, on my couch with my dog. Like I've been staying alive for the last almost 57 years by myself, with a little bit of help from my friends. Yes, true love. True love, Beauregard. It's for the dogs and the birds. Didn't see much of Charlie today. I was too busy sewing up little bags. What are we going to do about that, Bodie? Bye-bye. Bye. You know what, Bye-bye? It's getting freaking cold here with the air conditioning on. I'm so blessed to have that. That was one of the best gifts I ever got given. Truly, truly, I'm not sarcastic. I truly mean it. Amazeballs. Oh. The second most wonderful gift I ever had was a swimming pool, but that was a long, long time ago now. Yes. Swimming pool, Bodie. Listen to the people. they're happy. New Year's Eve and someone's birthday. Very nice. I should take the DOG for a WALK. Walk around the neighbourhood. Scare everybody. Hey, buddy? No, it's too late at night now. I'll behave. I'll behave. Anyway, that's enough about us. It's enough about me. Just wanted to check in with you and tell you, all my friends and my occasional followers and anyone who stumbles across my, crazy videos. 2021 is going to be just another year of growing more and more myself. More creative, blossoming out, loving myself more and more, especially more nights like these when I realise how putrid and evil and filthy my ex-lovers were and are, and loving myself enough so that maybe one day in the future, maybe in the next life, I am blessed with the kind of love that I always dreamt about having in this one. Meanwhile, I have my dog, and I have good friends who love me, and I still have my daughter Crystal, and I have my garden. Lynn and I sat in the garden. We both agreed that I'm very lucky. I've worked hard for my garden, but we're very lucky to be able to sit in our gardens and have peace and enjoyment and freedom from ourselves. So that is actually a huge gift that we created for ourselves, by ourselves. So I'm grateful for that. Beauregard. A Happy New Year to the people. It's not Happy New Year yet. Probably got another hour or so to go, but I just wanted to touch base. Maybe in a few years' time I'll look back on this video and go, my goodness, how awesome is our lives now? Maybe when COVID has completely burnt itself out, Mummy and Bodo will be happy again. Mummy will go dancing again, get right up in your face, get out of my face, to all the creeps, dance wildly and joyously again, and live as fully and vibrantly as I have ever been able to live in the last 10 years. Yes, those were good times. In spite of the superficial freaks and the quarties, I had some good times, and I'm grateful for those as well. Anyway, good night. Happy New Year. I love you. I wish for you a year of good health, peace, safety, to be surrounded by people who are authentic, loyal, faithful, adoring, and respectful. And may we each find, those of us who are still single, through no fault of our own. Alright, maybe there were a few things I could have not done, like send stupid texts like I did tonight. I'm not perfect. But maybe someday love will come to our door and say, you're it, kid, I choose you, and maybe I could trust in that and have a beautiful life with someone. Maybe it's coming. And that's all we can ever hope for, our little fantasies of blissful partnership where we share everything, including our dreams, in a respectful, honouring way, with effective communication. Return a phone call would be nice. Oh God, it's pathetic, it really is, but never mind. At least I can laugh. And romance and passion and sharing of resources and a beautiful life on this planet, whatever's left of it after we've finished ravaging what's still here in this paradigm. May we overcome all our frailties, all our fears and doubts. May we prosper, not necessarily financially, although that would be nice, but may we prosper and blossom and unfurl like 1,000-petaled lotus into the most magnificent version of ourselves until we barely recognise all that went before. The life that led up to that moment will be like a discarded snakeskin, dry, desiccated, and of no real value. And may we shimmer and shine in our freshly minted skins, glistening in the sunlight and the moonlight, redolent and radiant with joy and peace and beauty and art and poetry and music and the most sublime, satisfying, nourishing, cherishing love. Happy New Year, my friends, my family, and those that stumble across my mad videos. I know I sound mad, but I guess if you walked in my moccasins, you'd be sitting around on New Year's Eve making probably the same video, just so you can feel a part of this cosmos, feel heard and seen and validated. Not that I need anyone to validate me. I'm my own person. I've had to grow into my own psyche and my own body, scratch and bite and fight and chew my way through my own chrysalis to become the butterfly. Love. That's worth living for. That's why I'm still here, holding on when I should have let go long, long ago of any hope, of any dream, even my psychedelic dreaming, my Technicolor psychedelic dreaming, not the drugs, honey. Although I do realise I'm wearing my shamanic shrooms, so people will make assumptions there, but my daughter truly is a shaman and made them for me, and I think that's gorgeous. Maybe if I'd got hold of mushrooms and actually dabbled in that a bit, I was too frightened about my mind, I might have healed my complex PTSD. So there is that, isn't there? But I had too many friends that bombed themselves out with drugs, so didn't really want to go down that pathway. Living life sober, apart from the occasional tipple of Jack Daniels or wine, which, by the way, I'm going to have a glass of wine when I get off this video. Living life sober and in my own reality, by my own reckoning, that's already enriching and enlightening and ennobling. Takes balls though. Fortunately, I wear them a little bit higher up than some people. Anyway, on that note, Happy New Year, my darlings. Have a wonderful year. Onwards and upwards. Goodbye.